Jackson on the drive, kicks it out for man. Man, three-pointer, bang! Oh, what a man!
Magic down the middle, just what I thought. A hook shot at 12, good!
Here's Michael at the foul line, a shot on Elo, good!
The Bulls win! They win it!
Now there's a steal by Bird, underneath the DJ, going up over Bell, ball away, yes! Yes! At the buzzer, he does it! Was there ever a doubt? A Smith screen, Posey will defend.
Oh! LeBron James with no regard for human life!
It's a physical game.
Oh, me, oh, God! A monster jam by Blake Griffin!
What's going on, guys? Welcome to another post-game live here in the 2023 NBA playoffs, the Eastern Conference Finals between the Boston Celtics and the Miami Heat. This was Game 5 finishing, and the Boston Celtics season is still alive. But before we get into all of that, you already know the drill. Make sure to subscribe at Dime Dropper on YouTube. Hit the notification bell for all things NBA, NBA history, LA sports, especially LA basketball. And obviously, you can find this on Apple Podcasts and Spotify as well. You already know the drill in terms of social media. You can see in the bottom line if you're watching on the YouTube. So follow us, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at Dime Dropper Pod. Shout out to everybody tonight in the live. It was a much quieter night the other night. My Laker fans are checked out, it seems. Clipper fans are still kind of mourning. So I'm kind of a little bit worried. I'm not going to lie, guys, about the finals views. I hope since it's the finals, everybody comes through. But the last episode for the Celtics Heat, man, let me check where my video's at. I think it was my first post-game live this playoffs that was under 200 views. Now, obviously, I know that's going to change. Yeah, it's at 171 right now. So that's not great for us this playoffs. But hopefully, people start watching it. But let's talk about tonight's game, right? Live from Los Angeles, as always. Shout out to everybody. Super chats are turned on if you want to drop $1 or a dime. By the way, for the people on Twitter watching right now, I see there are 7 people watching on Twitter. You need to redirect yourself to the YouTube because that's where I make my money. So I'm going to delete that Twitter post right now. It's probably going to end right underneath the tweet that you're on. There'll be a link to the video. Please join that link because Twitter, it doesn't really do much for me, so hit that shit. All right, let's get into it. So the Celtics, winner go home situation. We all know the deal. And I predicted them to win this game. I've been saying, I think after the Celtics won Game 4, I said the Celtics going to win Game 5. If you listen to the last episode, and I think they're going to lose Game 6. But here's the thing. The most powerful thing in sports is momentum. And right now, the Boston Celtics have some in their favor. And this game was a complete beatdown. And I knew this game was over within the first 5 minutes. Listen, we can talk all about Joe Mazzulla all we want, but it's all about the players, mainly the stars. The first 3 games, the better duo was Miami's. The last 2 games, the better duo was the Jays. And the results are as according 3-2. So first and foremost, before we even look at a coach, and he's not as good as Udoka. I'm pretty confident in that statement, but his team is better this year. His players just came off a finals loss. This is what they're supposed to be doing. They're supposed to be playing like this. This is the way we thought the series was going to go. Not to necessarily they'd kill the Heat every game, but we thought it was going to be not the Celtics down 3-0, that's for sure. Super chat comes in from X3. Thank you so much for the super chat. Anything is appreciated. He says, told you guys last game, Jimmy is tired. How can you tell? Shots are hitting the front of the rim. Legs are shot. Well, here's the thing, X3. All he needs to do is get those legs back for one more game, and that's all that matters. And he's in the finals for the first time in his career with fans. But when I knew the Celtics were going to win this game in the first 5 minutes, when I saw Marcus Smart dive to the floor on the first possession, and right off of that, Jayson Tatum got out in transition and hit a layup, and the Celtics ball pressure, they didn't make any adjustment. That's why I said Mazzulla, we can talk about him all we want. They didn't make any adjustment. They were still switching basically everything. But the defensive ball pressure from the Celtics, the effort level, the level of desperation, we hadn't seen them start a game like that this entire series. That was on some we're going home tonight shit, and we didn't see that in Game 4 in the first half. that was being fired up by the home crowd too. Shout out to the Celtics fans. That was a rocking atmosphere. And I really hope for the Miami Heat, you listened to that. You felt that tonight. You don't want to be seeing that in a game 7. I can promise you that. I talk about game 7s in Boston all the time. You do not want to be in a game 7 in Boston. It is very, very hard to win. I've seen 2 teams do it in my life, 09 Magic and LeBron in 2018. And let me tell you something. That 2018 team was young and they didn't have much star power. Jayson Tatum was their best player and he was a rookie. And they literally, Jaylen Brown and Terry Rozier, missed open 3 after open 3 throughout the game. So despite LeBron's masterclass and him playing every second, it was one of the best playoff performances, in my opinion, in a game 7 that I've ever seen. Honestly, you can take away the game 7. Even though LeBron has so many other better playoff games, it was just the weight he had to carry and just how he kind of controlled the pace of that game, which impressed me so much. And then he closed, and he did it on both ends. So that, and then the 09 Magic, but Garnett was injured. So, and they kind of took the life out of the building early. Jayson Tatum and Jaylen Brown are healthy. Look, nobody's fully healthy in the playoffs, but Jaylen Brown, we were talking about, is he struggling with an arm injury when he had that awkward landing early in the series? But he looked good today. He looked good today, so I don't want to make any excuses. Speaking of injuries, though, Malcolm Brogdon apparently tore something in his elbow. And let me check how many minutes he played tonight because he didn't look the same. His shot hasn't been the same. He played just 8 minutes tonight in game 5. So not much Malcolm Brogdon. It really was a 7-man rotation, really, with the Time Lord and Grant Williams. But Peyton Pritchard did play 5 minutes because Brogdon couldn't play as much. But basically all the real rotation players tonight played 18-plus minutes. Malcolm Brogdon was 0 for 2. So 1 for 7 in the last 2 games for Brogdon. That might be something to look forward to. Look at going forward is the health of Malcolm Brogdon. And I should mention, speaking of injuries, while we're on the topic, Gabe Vincent did not play tonight. We talked about that ankle injury. Would it affect him? What would happen? He did not play, and oh boy, the Heat missed him. They started Kyle Lowry instead, and the Heat were just sloppy with the ball from the jump. They turned the ball over 16 times in the game tonight, and we've talked about all series. Pace is very important in this series. If the Heat turn the ball over and let it become an up and down game, the athletes and youth of the Celtics will take over. They want to make it a half-court game because the Celtics tend to play clunky, take turns, isolation, half-court offense with Jaylen Brown and Jayson Tatum taking turns doing high pick and roll or isolating at the top. The Heat get more ball movement. They play off the pass more than the bounce, and they more often make you defend both sides of the half-court than the Boston Celtics do. So Boston wants to get out and run. They had 27 points on the 16 Miami Heat turnovers. And as I said, the onslaught started from the jump. Jaylen Brown knocking down shots. The ball was zipping in the half court. Quick extra passes. Al Horford, Marcus Smart hitting 2 corner threes. Derek White was just everywhere. And as I said, they didn't make much of it a defensive adjustment. It was just better ball pressure. A big difference, not going for Jimmy Butler's pump fakes. Jimmy Butler is one of the best players in the league at utilizing pump fakes. I talk about that. In my opinion, that's a skill that is very underutilized in today's game, is the pump fake. Simple, fundamental things. And something you see in the past or European players do more. Jokic, Doncic, they get these guys on these things. They use people's athleticism against them. And Jimmy Butler does absolutely the same. But you see tonight, when you stay down, how much tougher it becomes for him. Jimmy Butler exposes how undisciplined defenders are in today's game with that, because so many guys are shooters. So you just, you want to jump and contest the shot. But traditionally, as I read in Willis Reed's book, you were taught to stay down and jump shooter and just put a good hand up. And if he makes it, he makes it. But of course, you are susceptible to somebody elevating over you and getting a cleaner look if you do not jump. But on Jimmy Butler, you want to live with that. You want to stay down, maybe jump a little bit at the last second, just go on your tiptoes and contest, because he will get you in the air. He will foul you. If he makes a contested jumper over you, fine. And in this game, he was not hitting. The Heat were not hitting. And the Celtics were in the beginning. And when the crowd was roaring like that, it just felt like one of those games. And I've been to these kind of games. And I haven't been to a game at TD Garden in the playoffs, which is a different level of atmosphere. But I've been in those kind of games, playoff games, where you just feel as a member of the crowd that you aren't going to let the team lose. Like, you are just going to push them. And they just make momentum play after momentum play to get you to push them even more. And with Paul Pierce sitting there courtside, it's funny that I saw Paul Pierce on TV tonight because I remember watching that sit down earlier this year and you should go check it out if you're a basketball fan, in my opinion, Garnett, Paul Pierce, the Jays, and Marcus Smart, just kind of talking about the team, the lineage, that they're the most recent, great Celtics team. And then now it's these guys. No offense to the Isaiah Thomas iteration, but they were talking about Paul Pierce was saying KG, we got to come out to the games more, because I used to love when Russell, Havlicek, Heinsohn, they'd always be at the games. It gives me that extra push. And Tatum and Jaylen were like, yeah, man, we love to see y'all come out. Like, it kind of reminds us what we're playing for, not just the fans, but for the greats that came before us. That's a big thing, man. Celtic culture, Celtic pride. And me, Celtics fans, Charles Barkley, so many people came out and said the Celtics in the beginning of the series are not playing with that level of Celtic pride. When Charles Barkley and Magic Johnson are speaking so highly about the Celtic name and what it means to play for that organization, and they had never played for Boston. They just played against them. They know what kind of players played for that franchise. They know what that, the Red Auerbach motto and what it was all about, what Celtic pride really means. And when they see players kind of get destroyed like that and show no heart, they speak on it, and they should. This is not just an organization with no expectations. This is the Boston Celtics. And Boston sports fans are not easy on their players, but they are loyal. And you have seen a response from an effort perspective. There's no crazy adjustment. They're giving up the same switches. It's just Tatum and Brown being more aggressive, mainly Tatum, going to the basket, not shooting as many threes. And that big run he made, he basically single-handedly turned the momentum in the last game. That could have just saved their season and been the start of history. Because Jayson Tatum, they were down by 6 points. He hit those 2 threes last game in the third quarter, and then after that, he took over the third. And they never look back after that. Tonight, you saw this was at home. They came out and hit him in the mouth, but they have life now because of game 4. And now that belief is growing. All they know is this is it, game 6. They win this next game, it's looking like history. Game 7 in Boston, at that point, the momentum is so crazy, and they're the better team. Here's the thing about this 3-0 thing, guys. It has never been a game 7 at home. I'm sorry, it has never been the higher seed hosting a game 7 that has won when the team has been down 3-0. Every single time that a team was down 3-0, it was the lower seed, and they came back and tied it. So that higher seed had the game 7 at home. This would be the first time where a team was down 3-0, but they were the higher seed. So they'll host game 7 after coming back from 3-0 down. That might be what we need to get that first 3-0 comeback. Because here's the thing. If you're a team that's the lower seed and down 3-0 and you tie the series, the better team, the higher seed, would have to lose 4 games in a row and lose a game 7 at home. That's very unlikely. So that's what happened in 2003 when the Mavericks played against the Portland Trailblazers. And mind you, that was before my time. As I said, I was only 4 years old, going on 5 a couple months after. So I've seen a couple teams take it from 3-0 to 3-2. The Orlando Magic in 2010 against the Boston Celtics. The Boston Celtics in 2013, Pierce and Garnett's last year against the New York Knicks with Carmelo Anthony. But again, both of these teams were the lower seed. And then last year, actually the Magic weren't, but they couldn't win that game 6. And I never felt like the Celtics were going to lose. That team was too mentally tough to lose 4 games in a row. And then, or even 3 games in a row. And then you had last year, the Toronto Raptors against the Philadelphia 76ers. So I've seen teams take it to game 6, but never game 7, which shows that this game 6 coming up is going to be for all the marbles. This one will decide the series. And look, if you're the Miami Heat, in my opinion, if you lose 3 games, this doesn't just apply to the Heat. In any playoff series for any team, if you lose 3 games in a row in a series, then you probably don't deserve to win. Who's going to be the one to lose 3 games in a row and make and pay for it? If the Heat lose 3 games in a row, that means both teams will have lost 3 games in a row. But the Heat losing the last 3 means they will probably lose 4 in a row. Make the Celtics pay for losing 3 games in a row in the beginning of the series and handle business at home and finish this thing. Finish it. But as I said, the Celtics went up 18-5, and they never really looked back. I don't even remember the Heat getting it within single digits. I could be wrong. Honestly, you know what? I'm going to check for you guys. Because they went up 18-5, and they never looked back. They led by 15 after the first quarter, and one thing that was a welcome sign for the Celtics was Jaylen Brown hitting shots. Him being aggressive, got a couple of steals, got on, ran, knocked down threes, open contested, and that's the thing about the Celtics. Just know that there are a couple games where their three balls are hitting or the three balls are going to fall, and that's my one issue. I've had an issue with the Celtics for 5-6 years now, that they are too reluctant or too reliant on the three ball. And it's just, live by the three, die by the three. But they have so much talent that in this series, it might work out for them. But the thing is, it's not just the three ball. How do you get open threes? Dribble penetration. What really stood out to me in this game was Jayson Tatum's aggression going to the basket. He turned the corner so well on those pick and rolls. A couple of times he put Love or Zeller in the pick and roll and rejected the screen and just hit the burst. And the Miami Heat's ball pressure was nowhere near the first couple of games. And Kyle Lowry, I think he needs to go back to the bench. They need Gabe Vincent back badly, because Kyle Lowry starting was not it. And he's had a couple of bad shooting games in this series. He's had 2 bad games in a row, if we're being real. And he's had a really good postseason. He needs one great game. And if he starts next game, no excuses. You got to get it done. But at the end of the day, talking about Kyle Lowry is not really the main reason that the Heat lost. It's really, you got to look at Jimmy Butler and Bam Adebayo. And really, Bam, he was pathetic tonight. One-on-one, he was completely hesitant. There were times where Jimmy and Bam were just passing up solid mid-ranges, pump faking extra, and just shooting even tougher shots. There was no offensive confidence tonight from Bam. He was getting locked up, and I got to give the Celtics individual defenders credit. Marcus Smart, Jayson Tatum, but mainly Derek White, who just had an amazing game on both ends, guarded Jimmy well and was really disciplined tonight. By far, in my opinion, his best game of this series defensively against Jimmy Butler, and it was just an all-around beatdown. The Celtics stayed the course. They stayed up by double digits the entire second quarter, and they got the game to 60. They kept making their threes. Derek White, Marcus Smart, the Time Lord came in and had a couple of buckets. It was just an all-around beatdown. Duncan Robinson actually was one of the only Heat players that was having a decent game offensively, but besides that, the Heat kept them in check. Jimmy Butler, 2 not very good games in a row. At this point, the pressure is mounting on him and the Heat. He's the guy that needs to perform. He needs to have a great game 6 and finish this series. No excuses. None. Third quarter, Celtics again, basically keeping the game 7 within no less than a 16-point lead at any point of the third quarter. So, wow, you got to give credit to the Celtics for not really taking their foot off the gas. The Heat made a little bit of a mini run, like a 6-0 run, and they ended up losing by 13 points, but it was such a comfortable win for the Celtics. Jaylen Brown, Jayson Tatum checked out with 3 minutes to go. The Celtics showed a lot of heart in these 2 games, man, keeping the series alive. And as I said, it starts with the best players, but look at the team stats tonight. The Heat actually shot 51% from the field, which is a little bit scary. 39% from 3 as well. So what if they don't shoot as well in game 6? It's very possible. Celtics shooting worse than the Heat actually from the field, 50.6%, but they made 7 more threes and shot 16 of them. So that 3-ball game, they shot 41%, Heat 39. But in my opinion, they generated a lot more. And that's because of Tatum and Brown's aggression, the extra passes. It just looked like a totally different team. And it just shows that it's all mental. It's all mental. This is the Boston Celtics that I expect to see, that I thought were the best team in the league all season. Come on. You got to show some pride. And they did, but it just might be a little too late. Too little too late. But we'll see. As I said, all you got to do is win one more game. They're talented enough to do it, even without Brogdon. Free throw disparity, 9 in favor of Boston. They shot 14 for 19 from the line, so just 74%, which is not even that crazy. Heat 8 for 10, 80%. And as I said, 27 points off of turnovers for the Boston Celtics. The Heat never even led tonight. Wow, wire-to-wire victory. Celtics led by as many as 24. Let's read the lines. Tonight for the Miami Heat, they played an 8-man rotation, and we actually saw a new player introduced, and that was Haywood Highsmith, who hasn't had rotation minutes really in this series. He was playing. And let's talk about Kevin Love, who played the least amount of minutes of any rotation player, just 14, 6 points, 6 rebounds on 3 for 7 shooting, and was struggling defensively in the pick and roll when he was put in it. Max Strus, 24 minutes. Not a good game for him. 3 points on 1 of 5 shooting. So 2 games in a row. Max Strus not hitting the 3. 1 for 9 in his last 2 games from 3. If you want to even go back to game 3, he is 8 for 23 from deep. So that's Max Strus. Needs to play better, needs to knock down his shots. Then there's Duncan Robinson, who played 28 minutes and was 7 for 10 from the field and 2 for 3 from deep. He was the leading scorer for the Heat tonight. 18 points, 4 rebounds, and get this, 9 assists and only 1 turnover. What a solid game for Duncan Robinson in 28 minutes, but defensively not really good. He was actually a +7 though, funny enough. But I didn't watch the end of the game, the garbage time minutes. I'm not sure if he was in there. Cody Zeller, only 4 minutes. Wasn't very good. Caleb Martin, who's been amazing in this series, 32 minutes played for him, 14 points and 5 boards on 5 for 12 shooting and 2 for 5 from 3. He just continues to be pretty consistent. I mean, it's just amazing the level that he's playing at in these playoffs. And then the starters, Kyle Lowry, 30 minutes played, 5 points, 2 rebounds, just 1 assist and 4 turnovers. It was a stinker for Lowry. 2 for 5 from the field and just 2 3-point attempts, made 1 of them in 30 minutes of play. Need better. 2 bad games in a row for Kyle Lowry. And then you have the stars. Bam Adebayo's stat line doesn't look that bad. 16 points, 8 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 steals, and a block. But he turned the ball over 6 times. He was 8 for 15 from the field, and he just didn't scare the defense at all. You need a much better performance from Bam. That's 2 games in a row that were just not good enough. Jimmy Butler, also not good enough. Only got 10 shots off. Lockdown, in my opinion. I don't care how efficient you were. Only 10 shots off. He didn't take certain shots. They didn't bite for pump fakes. He was a team worst, -24. 14 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists, 2 steals on 5 for 10 shooting, 0 for 2 from 3, and 4 for 6 from the line. Jimmy Butler, man, I'm looking at you. It starts with you, and then Bam. It's nothing to do with Spoelstra. He needs to be better. He needs to play one last great game, and he's going to need some help. He's going to need Max Strus to make shots, Caleb Martin to keep playing like he's playing, maybe a little Duncan Robinson. If Gabe Vincent comes back, that would be huge, but you might not have Gabe Vincent, and I still don't think there's an excuse. You got to go out there and get 30 plus. No, if they're going to keep switching Derek White on you, you got to bust his ass, point blank. If your whole game is pump faking and going right, then maybe you're not the number 1 option on a championship team. Let's see it though, Jimmy. I trust you. Let's talk about the Celtics. As I said, 51% and 41 from 3. So again, the Celtics knocking down the 3 ball makes all the difference, but it all starts with the dribble penetration. And 39 attempts is not too crazy for me, especially when you're making them. I think that's a solid amount. Time Lord played 18 minutes and was really solid. 6 points, 4 rebounds in 18 minutes, 3 for 3 from the field and was a +10. Then there was Grant Williams, who didn't shoot very well. 6 points, 4 rebounds, 1 for 4 from the field and 1 for 4 from deep. To be honest, I don't really remember how well he did. I'm not going to lie. I wasn't watching the game in as much depth tonight, but all I really need to see was the first half in depth, and I could see how the game was going. And then, so as I said, Malcolm Brogdon didn't really play much. How about Al Horford? 29 minutes. He was everywhere, in my opinion. 6 points, 11 rebounds, 5 assists, 1 steal, 1 block, no turnovers. He finally didn't make threes after, he struggled in the beginning of the series. Had a couple of games where he was knocking it down. 0 for 3 from deep in this one, but 3 for 4 from 2. 3 for 7 overall in 29 minutes of play. And then Marcus Smart. He has been really solid in these last 2 games. 7 for 12 from the field, 4 for 6 from deep, 5 for 6 from the line, 23 points, 3 rebounds, 2 assists, and 5 steals. What a performance by Marcus Smart. Making the extra pass, playing great defense, doing all the hustle things that we expect from the guy, and knocking down the 3 ball. And when he's knocking down the 3 ball, one of the best role players in the league, in my opinion. So huge performances by Marcus Smart. And then Derek White, I mean, what a game for him on both ends of the floor. Knocking down the 3, going to the basket, floaters, just an amazing overall scoring output. 24 points. He got us 2 steals as well. 8 for 11 from the field and 75% from three, 6 for 8 from downtown. That is nuts. And then the Jays, Jaylen Brown finally had a good shooting game. 50% from the field, 9 for 18, 3 for 5 from deep. Didn't shoot a free throw, but we'll take a 50-60 game. 21 points, 3 steals to go along with that. And then Jayson Tatum. Elimination game Tatum. Is elimination game Tatum going to strike again? Again, it's all about the stars. You're going to need the Jays to play well again. It's going to be hard to win a game like that without both the Jays playing well again, especially at least Jayson Tatum. 21 points, 8 rebounds, 11 assists. He had some really nice passes in this game, JT. Almost a triple-double. Second straight double-double in the series for Jayson Tatum. Actually, the third. But the other ones were with rebounds. This one was with assists. 21, 8, and 11 on 8 for 16 shooting. His three ball has still not been good in this series, about 30% right now. 1 for 6 tonight. He was 33% heading into this game, so honestly, it might be under 30 now. And 4 for 6 on the line. So again, you want to see him make at least 5 out of 6 free throws, but nitpicking. 41 minutes played for JT, 37 for JB. So much heart being shown by the Celtics right now. You love to see it, but at the end of the day, one more game is all it comes down to. It really is the stars. It starts with them being aggressive, catching the ball on the elbow, mid-post. Jayson Tatum's been doing a lot more of that these last 2 games. Keep catching the ball inside the arc. They cannot guard you. Who is the best player in this series? I think we're going to find out in Game 6. That's it for me tonight, guys. Now to the live subscribers waiting patiently in the chat. I must warn you, if Game 6 is on, I believe it's on Saturday, I'm going to be out of town. So I won't be able to go live, which is going to suck. So yeah, I'll be back on Monday. So if it goes to Game 7, I'll be able to come back and recap Game 7. Here's the thing. If it ends in Game 6, I'll be able to do a recap on Game 6 on Monday and just react to the Heat in the finals, then release a preview later that week. But if the series ends, what would suck is if the Celtics win Game 7, then I can't react to it before Game 7. I'm sorry, Celtics won Game 6, and I can't make a reaction before Game 7. I might make like a YouTube short or maybe just straight up stream it on my phone. I might just have to do that, but I'll do something, I promise. But anyway, thanks so much for joining me. Let me know what you thought of the episode. Minute men, minute women, my Celtics fans, congratulations, you are still alive. Let me know what you thought of the episode if you listened. Now to the live subscribers waiting patiently in the chat. Super chats are turned on. Going to drop $1 or a dime. Peace. All right, hold on one second. I'm going to let my computer cool down for just 30 seconds. Then we'll read the comments, and I'm going to share the live so people can jump in. All right, let's read the comments. 15 people on the live, not terrible. June 28th, July says, get it together. Heat League wants the Celtics to advance. I don't know about all that. Maybe, probably. Pasha Man says, I'm getting scared. Yeah, Laker fans are scared. Showtime Knicks is not going to lie. I'm worried about the Celtics coming back. Stoxinho says, we here. I swear to God, if the Heat blow this, Butler's career is finished. This over 2016 as an embarrassing comeback. Boston wins the title with momentum, and they break tie with the Lakers. That's shaking my head. I told you, you should have wished for Lakers failed 3-0 comeback. Numbers after Game 6 would have been peak. Yeah. Raid said, sup, Darian. What's up, Raid? And he also says, Jimmy will close it out Game 6. My name is Dub, says, smart diving on the floor was the play of the game. I feel you. Daniel Berry Sports Highlights already changes Avatar to the Dodgers says, what's up? Heat suck. Celtics in 7. Alfonso Lopez says, most times there's a 3-0 scenario. There's a talent disparity that made it so. But in this situation, we're dealing with an 8 seed over a 2 seed. This series is the best chance of coming back from 3-0 down. Yes. Brogdon, Big Boss 5150 says, Brogdon going to be decoy at best if he plays again. Yeah, we'll see. Daniel Berry says, sup? What's up, Daniel Berry? June 28th, July says, is this series dragging beneficial to the Nuggets? Absolutely it is. Showtime Nick says, my high school coach was huge on pump fakes. Having a good pump fake was a great way to win him over. Feel you. Nick Rota says, I get Wob vibes from you. Who's Wob? The guy on Worldwide Rob? Destined for big things. Thank you so much. Just keep up the content. Will do. Showtime. Keep tuning in. Showtime Nick says, how Boston fans are tough on their players but are loyal. That's what us New York fans have in common with them. Perhaps that's what makes New York and Boston such a great rivalry. Yeah. Booker's dad says, hashtag Celtics in 7. Are you a Suns fan? Or no, you Mavs fan or are you a Celtics fan? Says, we're sending Lowry to join Dwight on the Shanghai Knights. Duolingo. Stock Senior says, Dime clears Wob. LMAO. Wob picked Wolves over Nuggets. Dime picked Nuggets to win West. I don't think predictions are an indication of how much you know basketball. I thought you was a Laker fan, Nick. Yeah, he is. Nick Rotas says, I'm a Mavs fan. Mavs fan for life. Stalkinho says, I'm talking about Showtime, Nick. Big Boss says, JB. Stocksinho says, everyone's saying Denver would have huge rest advantage against Boston, but I heavily disagree. Coming back from 3-0 would improve their biggest weakness, mentality. That's a good point. Showtime Nick says, I am a Laker fan, but I root for New York teams for baseball and football, and the Knicks are my second favorite team in basketball. I love Knicks fans the most, too. I wish LeBron went there in 2018 so we wouldn't have to deal with certain Laker fans like you. I'm messing. Imagine the sideline talk, Knicks fans with LeBron there. You're funny. Showtime Nick says, he got us a championship, so I could never hate him. Even some of his antics rub me the wrong way. Let's see. I can remember since the trade deadline, I know LeBron is mostly satisfied, though. Trashy says Dime House, California, moving there Monday. Well, it's the biggest state, so one of the biggest. So you have to let me know where you're moving to, and then I could actually help you. Showtime Nick says LeBron sexuals, though. Yeah, we all agree they're the worst. And then leaving is what I will absolutely celebrate when LeBron becomes a former Laker. Feel you on that. Mr. E says first 0-3 comeback would be wild. Hope we get one in the Stars versus Vegas series in hockey, too. Feel you on that. Stocksinho says, thanks for calling my name, right? I prefer Bron sexual over Bron fan. Stocksinho says, there was a time when I made excuses for LeBron too, but I was never a Bron sexual. I always had MJ over Bron. I also never chose my favorite team based on where LeBron played. Bodied me, Nick. LMAO. He on Twitter right now. It was 18-19 mostly. Phoenix Plays Z says, my Miami in 6 prediction is alive. I feel you. Big Boss 150 says, how do you feel about the Lakers flirting with getting Trey? Think D'Lo's gone for sure? No, I don't. And I don't know about the Trey stuff. Stockson used to shake my – you're funny. X3 says, response to your comment, Jillian only has to left legs for one more game. It's different when it's a game every other day and you're 33 years old. So you think the Celtics are coming back, X3. Phoenix Gen Z says, I might be a psycho self-inflicting pain on myself rewatching Game 5 of the 2019 Finals over and over again. Interesting. I changed my NBA champion pick. It's Denver in 5 versus whoever comes out of the East. Jokic and Murray dribble handoffs are unguardable. Yeah, a lot of stuff with the Nuggets are unguardable, but I don't know about what's it called? 5. He says the things I would do to get a Murray type of guard prospect next to Scotty. Strong Fred VanVleet. Stocksinho says, I agree predictions don't show that, but that one is nasty though. All right, guys, I'm probably going to shut it down. So, yeah, I'm probably going to shut it down. All right. Peace.